Thank you, Om Jeff. And hello, Om Tante, Basudara tutor and facilitator. Good morning, all Basudara in Europe, and also good evening from Ambon to all of you. My name is Tirsa Kailola, and I live in Selaile, Latuhalat. So the purpose of this sharing today is actually to help you all in planning and managing your language classes. And hopefully it can be useful insight that we can use for you to teach both young learner and also adult learner. Next slide, please. So we also understand that all of us coming here with a very different professional background, and which of some of you teaching might be very new things for us. But the value of Bahasa Basudara is lain bantu lain. We want to raise the spirit through this platform to let Malukan people involved in helping another Maluku. However, the process might be not really easy though. We face different challenges in our classes, and it could be discourage us as well. So let's categorize them together. What kind of challenges that we face usually in the class? Please, everyone can join Mentimeter to do this poll, and you can choose more than one answer in this. So which are the following challenges that you face usually in your class? I might give you some minutes to answer that. And we're gonna see what's the majority problem that usually, or challenges that we usually have in our classes when we teach language. Okay, so far we have so many, like 5 people answered. The student have become demotivated. Oh, this is the same. With the student are looking for lacking engagement. Okay, maybe some second to go before we continue. Okay, cool. So as we see in the as we see in the polling, it said that majority of the tutor thinks the challenges is the student somehow feel demotivated day by day. So we know that, like, as a teacher, we always thinking that our job is to motivate the student. That can be true as well, but many researchers said that intrinsic motivation played an important role in learning process, which shape our mindset as a teacher, not only teaching how can we motivate the children or the student, but also how we can create the situation where the student can motivate themselves. So from the polling before, I can conclude that one of the problem in the class is how to keep our student interested in learning and engaging actively in the classes, which is we're gonna see because we see in the classes, some tutors said that they started the class with a very enthusiastic student, but gradually reduced after several meetings. So let's find out what is the reason why the student become demotivated in the class. So let's dig in one by one. Next slide, please. Some students might become demotivated when they feel left behind in the classes. It could be because there is a huge gap between what they know and the assigned work. For example, the student with a very basic English, when they are assigned to tell or describe about something that is out of vocabulary they are not familiar with, it might be difficult for them and it makes them feel not good enough. We might not realize it, but our speech and fluency, especially for native speaker here in English, can be very intimidating for our student who just at the first time meeting native speaker, or usually we call it like bule. That's open us to another layer that we should know about how this attitude is shaped. In Indonesian, especially in Malukan education specifically, the students usually are threat. Can you continue? Usually we see that the student, this is some factor that we have to understand about the background of our student in Maluku, because this is the majority student that we teach. The children or the student are treated as an object, not a subject. So they cannot express themselves easily, or this is like in the class, it is considered to be good behavior when you have to obey your teacher, follow what the teacher say. And sometimes the teacher figures in their mind can be portrayed as somebody who unfriendly or make them very afraid of the teachers. We also thought that the Western culture somehow is better than ourselves. And that's making us feel insecure and not good enough when we're talking or when we meet foreigner. This is how low self-esteem and lack of confidence are planted. Therefore, when they find difficulty in the class, it's easily for the student to give up. It's also related to psychology of human being, of course, or put it's very simple, Malukan pride. We don't want to be looked as not good enough or foolish. When we understand in a certain situation that is going to make us feel embarrassed or not able to perform the task very well, it's better to give up or quit instead of hanging there and feeling embarrassed. That's the other. This is some facts that we can understand about the background of Malukan student actually. Next slide, please. The other reason also why the students are demotivated, it's also because the teacher doesn't engage with them, which is actually not 100% teacher's faults. Different treatment happen because we belong to different generation than our student. Next slide. Let's check together which generation do you belong. There are some generation we see over here: baby boomer, Gen X, Gen Y, and also Gen Z, which is mostly our student are Gen Z. So let's try to dig it, try to do the polling again to find out our tutor and facilitator here, which kind of, which generation that we mostly are. Everyone also can join the menti.com again, Mentimeter, and try to answer which generation do you belong, whether it's baby boomer or Gen X or Gen Y or Gen Z. Yeah, this is quite interesting because as I can see in the slide over here, the majority of our tutor and facilitator are Gen Y, which is closer directly to Gen Z. But there are also some teachers, some facilitator and tutor, which are belongs to Gen X and even baby boomer. So do you see here that's this different way, like we belong because we belongs to the different generation. We might also have a different treatment, or we believe or different value. We have another point of view to see the things. Okay, let's go in. Yeah, so every generation actually has a different lens through which they can see the world. Which is mean like from the poll we see before, the majority of our tutor basically are Gen Y or Gen X, while our students mostly are Gen Z. And why does it become significant for us to see it? Because every generation has different lens through we can see the world, and also we see that our experience define how we interact with the world. We value our value and our belief as a tutor and mentor, which is belongs tutor or facilitator, which is belong to different generation, actually determine how my different treatment that we're gonna treat them. We experience different world from our student. That's why it's very important for us to understand how Gen Z world works, because sometimes it's quite new for some of us. Here's some of the characteristics of the Gen Z. Mostly Gen Z has a lower attention span. Why is that? Because they are digital native. Starting from when they were born, they're experiencing an automatic world. Everything can happen in one click. No need long process or patience for getting what they want. They're familiar with media, YouTube, television, which cover fast-changing entertainment, moving picture, and videos. As a result, it's also make them cannot focus very long on certain thing, which is mostly is just 15 minutes. They can concentrate very well or focus. And also dynamic word, which over instant result, shape their point of view. They want something instant, like very quick result. Avoiding long process, they prefer something shortcut. It happened because this is how the world nowadays work, while the other generation, maybe for a baby boomer or X or Y, we used to think like to be successful, it's full of hard work and focus. This generation see different angle to be successful in more easier way, and it's possible. Similar to other generation, Gen Z, they have their personal goal as well, but they prefer shortcut to be on the top. They usually are not interested in long explanation about something. They just want some practical step on how to do something. That's why you see on the YouTube, everything go very, very quick. And they say mostly they give a lot of lesson, which is just happening in the 15 minutes or 5 minutes, some way to trick on something. They also that's also making them become multitasking people. Well, they might talk to you, like talk to us. They're looking while they're looking at their phone or chatting on their phone. So for senior generation, we might think it's disrespectful. But for Gen Z, that doesn't mean to respect you. They just want to be effective and efficient in using time. If they can do something at the same time, then it's better. But the different way we see it, because we belongs to different world. Next, please. About Gen Z also, we know that they enjoy more attention, like you see in the YouTube or social medias. They like more comment or a like in the social media. It is sometimes really not really good also, because it's also making Gen Z somehow build their worthiness or their identity based on how many follower and engagement in the social media. They are also more interested in colorful picture because they are visually oriented. So something very static, plain, it doesn't look interesting for them. While in hyper customization means that they place high on the value of self-expression and also personal taste and experience. It means they enjoy being involved in the process where they can decide and customize how things work for them. It is important for them to get ownership and authority to decide something for themselves. So after learning this student background, what can we do actually to help them? So let's see some insight that we can do to help our student in our class learn better. First of all, we can start by having a good mindset about our student. Why that's happened? Because in Moluccan, for example, the student are used to be underestimated by almost everybody, teachers or even parents. That's why in our platform, we need to show more attitude that make them feel that we believe in them and they are worth it. All kids around the world are the same. The different result on their progress due to the different treatment and also access to education. But in Maluku, their problem are double. It's not just about lacking of access to education, but also we are stigmatized that we are poor, we are not good enough, we are not smart. Kids lack their confidence in their capacity. Thus in the class, we can do more than just teaching. Building good conversation, caring for them personally might be one step to help them to boost their confidence. Next, please. And also to make them comfortable in learning, as we know before, this is, I'm reading this quote from, we make it last time, that most of the students, they feel like we maybe not reach or Moluccan student, maybe we're not rich and we don't have same access that the other children might have, but that doesn't mean that we know nothing or we cannot do anything. Which is the same, just different way, the different treatment, and also lack of access to education. Next, please. To make them comfortable in learning, it's very important for us to find out the level of our student. Planning our lesson based on student level, because that's really help them to grow and making them confident for what they can, instead of directly doing something that's very difficult. Next, please. Yeah, as we see before, that some of the Gen Z usually they have short attention span. It's very important for us also to base our lesson in very small chunk of information, or divided our sessions into some short exercise or activity to keep their attention on. Next. Another thing is, since this generation focus on more practical result, it's very important for us to make our class more practical. So we need to say that at the beginning, what is the focus, or what is the result that they can get after learning with us in the maybe 90 minutes or something. And also at the end of the class, it's also important to tell them like how good they are, or what they are able to achieve in this meeting, because this generation, they want something that they can see directly what is the result, and it should be practical, something that they need. Next, please. And also very important one is we need to also offer more positive feedback and encouragement and constant support, because that they really need. Like in Moluccan, it's very not really common for people to tell more good feedback. They want like you doing something good, people want it, we won't notice you, but when you do some mistake, and people will just telling you a lot of things, that's also shaping like we making us like lack of confidence. So it's very important to always offer positive feedback and give more constant support for the children or our student, so that it can boost their confidence. Next, please. So we know that Jen said like something dynamic and colorful. So we need also to vary our teaching methods. But what kind of teaching methods that we can use? I can share after we check it out this video.